Hey everybody, it's Dave and Olive. Thanks for joining us here at Book Blather. We talk about the books we've read recently to help spread the joy of reading. Today, we're doing a wrap-up that's got a wide assortment of books. Okay, so today we're doing a wrap-up of the books we've read recently that we haven't talked about yet. So we used to try to... What's up? What's up? I don't know. Olive's got a lot to say about a couple of these, I guess. So when we used to do wrap ups, we would do monthly wrap ups, but those aren't really working anymore because some of these books we talk about individually and stuff in between. So this is just what we're calling the when we're ready wrap up. So we basically have a group of books that we've read recently that we haven't talked about yet. So those are the ones we're going to talk about today. So we've got an assortment today. A horror, a sci-fi, a what I would call weird fiction, and smut. So, so let's start off. The first one that we're talking about is Below by Laurel Hightower. So this was published just a couple of months ago by Ghoulish Books. Bought this as soon as it came out because we had read her previous, the horror novella that she had done just before this one called Crossroads. And that was one of our favorite books last year. So we got this as soon as it came out. And just like Crossroads, we really enjoyed this one. This was, I think, very similar kind of style to Crossroads, even though it was a different book. So what this is about is this tells a story of Addie, who's a woman that's, she's driving at night in a snowstorm in West Virginia to meet with some friends, and she's recently divorced. And so basically something happens that shakes her up, and so she has to stop at a truck rest stop and meets a trucker there. And the two of them leave together in their own vehicles, but they leave together and they encounter an entity, let's say, and there's an accident, and then that starts off this little horror-filled adventure. And the story is as she's basically trying to deal with what happened and ends up going further and further into this rabbit hole. She's also dealing with at the same time she's recently divorced. And she had been previously married to, a somewhat controlling husband who was kind of always telling her what she should do and kind of taking care of things for her. And so she's trying to now, this trip, and she's trying to get her independent life together. And so she always has, as she's going through this and encountering more and more dangers, she's always got the voice of this husband in the back of her head. And so... yeah, it's one of those books that, yes, because it's short, I can't say too much more than that without spoiling it. Other than that, it was really, really fast-paced, really engaging story. And the reason I said that this one is, I thought, the same style as Crossroads, very different kind of story. But, it was similar to Crossroads in that it sort of had these parallel tracks of some traditional scary horror going on, but then at the same time there's this sort of just struggle that she's going on in her own mind, in her own life, that is independent of this horror, but that is they're traveling down along parallel tracks as she's going through this experience. So Crossroads was similar in a couple of ways, or this is similar to Crossroads in a couple of ways, in that, like Crossroads, it kind of, you get sucked down this involuntary, whirlwind with the character, and even though you're every step of the way you're going, no, danger, don't do that, you absolutely understand why she's doing it, and you sympathize with her, and you kind of just get involuntarily sucked down into it with her. And it has the parallel, it's not just scary. There's like Crossroads, there's a scary and mysterious entity, but there's also this sort of just battle that's going on inside, and this sort of psychological struggle that's happening. So It was really good. I mean, it was like I said, it was for a lot of the same reasons that I like Crossroads. I like this one. I really like novels that are sort of multi-layered like this, and don't just have horror novellas that are multi-layered. Don't just have it's not just a scary thrill ride. So it was really good. I would highly recommend it. Probably liked it just slightly less than Crossroads, but that's very high burden to meet because, like I said, Crossroads was one of my favorite books last year. I really, really did enjoy this and would definitely recommend it. Laurel Hightower is one of those authors that, like, the next book that comes out, I'm definitely going to buy it and read it. Like, without, I'm not even going to have to inquire what it's about. So, I highly recommend this one. Okay, so the next one we read is a science fiction novel. This is Downward to Earth by Robert Silverberg. So this was published. I'm not sure what. So I'm not sure if I think the book was first published in 1970. So this was originally serialized in a science fiction magazine called Galaxy. If you've never heard of Galaxy, it's like one of those ones today that they have like analog. This is what an old Galaxy magazine looks like, and so this was originally serialized in Galaxy magazine, but then turned into book form. So I think it was like 1969. It was coming out in the magazine in 1970. They put it in this book form. And so this tells what this is about is it's about this man Edmund Grunderberg, I think was how Edmund. Well, it doesn't matter. Edmund Gunderson, and he is returning to this planet Belzegor. Years ago, I think it was an 8-year gap. Years ago, he had been an administrator on this planet, and there was two sort of young sentient species that lived there. There was a main one that they interacted with called the Nildoror, which are sort of these like elephantine sort of people, and the humans had gone there not really recognizing their sentience and had just exploited them for labor as they got what they wanted, the materials they wanted out of this from this planet. And then eventually they recognized that yes, the Nildoror were very sentient creatures, and they kind of relinquished it back to them. And Edmund is coming back after years. He had left, but a woman that he had been involved with, along with some others, stayed there. When they relinquished the control back to the Nildoror, who were native there, some of the humans elected to stay. And so he's coming back basically to seek atonement for some of the abuse that he had wreaked on the Nildoror. And the Nildoror, they're a little more simple people, but they're also very spiritual. And a central part of the story is that the Nildoror, every year, they move north up to the Mist Country, where they undergo this experience called rebirth, which is very spiritually important to them. And when they go up north, there's another sentient creature called the Solidoror, which are more of my take was more of a primate sort of peoples, and that help them with this experience. And so he travels basically to try to atone for this. He meets some of the people that he had met when he was there. Now it's primarily humans continue to go, but mainly for tourism. And so he makes his way north to, basically atone for this what he's done. And so he re-encounters some of the humans who have gone through some unusual experiences since he's left, and he learns a little bit more about rebirth. And sorry about that, my daughter came in to sharpen a pencil, which would have been a little too loud to keep video recording. So anyway. So Edmund goes north to, he makes us travel up north and sees all these, has these unusual encounters and learns a bit more about the Nildoror and the Solidoror and about himself as he goes on this journey. So This book was this book has a connection to The Heart of Darkness by Joseph Conrad, and I actually got I because of that. When I heard about that, I actually picked up this. This is a Penguin copy of The Heart of Darkness, which I have not read yet, but I'm going to. But there's not just analogy. There's a direct connection between them. And when Silverberg wrote this book, he actually makes references to this. It's similar in terms of that, they're traveling along this really long river, making this journey, and the colonialism parallel between the two books. But that's really all I know about The Heart of Darkness. I can't believe I haven't read that yet. So. But Silverberg makes a direct reference to it. Even a main character, Kurtz, is common between the two. So we're probably going to be talking about this book again. I just wanted to, wrap up the books that we've read before we got too many and it got to be too long. But there's probably going to be another video on this one because I want to come back and revisit this after I've read The Heart of Darkness and do a little comparison between them. And there was also this was very well received. So there's actually, they turned this into a graphic novel as well. So there's a graphic novel, a very, very short graphic novel series or volume about this story as well. So if you've read read this book and you've read the graphic novel, or you've also read The Heart of Darkness and appreciate the connections between those, I'd love to hear your thoughts on that because we're definitely going to be reading those other things as well. And like I said, talking about this book again. Okay, and the next one is what I would call weird fiction because I don't know what else to call it. This is The Room by Jonas Karlsson. This book was published, I think, in 2015, I'm pretty sure. So this was originally published in Swedish in 2015, and this is this translation was done by Neil Smith. And this was really a fascinating little book. I had seen this a few years ago and added to it one of my lists, one of my Amazon lists. And then I just saw this recently in a used bookstore, which we have not done the book haul for yet, but we'll do that soon. And so when I saw it, I remembered it and grabbed it. And this is a really fascinating little book. This was, so this is about this guy, Bjorn, who moves into a new office, basically. And it's when he's in this new office, he's very aspiring and, meticulous, and he has these plans for how he's going to be successful and rise to a leadership position in this new office. So he's a little odd. And when he's there, he finds this secret room, like between the elevator and the bathrooms. And he's able to go into this secret room and, just have privacy and do some very successful work in this room. Even though outside in the rest of the office, he has some trouble with his fellow coworkers because he's a little bit odd. And so, when I first saw it, it interested me because it reminded me of that movie, old movie. I'm dating myself here, but that really old movie, Being John Malkovich. I don't know if anybody remembers that one. That came out in about 20 years ago, or just over 20 years ago. That was about a guy living a kind of a humdrum life, and goes to work as I think a file clerk in this building, and he ends up working on this between the 7th and 8th floors of that office building, and while he's doing some filing, finds like a secret portal, and it projects him into John Malkovich's body, and he lives as John Malkovich for about 15 years, and then he gets dropped off. About 15 minutes, and then gets dropped off on the New Jersey Turnpike. So he keeps doing it. So it kind of reminded me of that, finding that little secret, mysterious room. So it's not like that. It's not like being John Malkovich in terms of what it's about, but it is a little bit like that movie in terms of really sort of living this humdrum life in an office setting, and basically aspiring to or wanting to live a different life, someone else's life. And there's a little bit of that. There's this story was multifaceted. I think explored a couple different things. Olive, what are you doing? We're filming here. Come on. All right. God. Olive always gets distracted when anybody makes noise in the kitchen. Very meal oriented, right? Yeah, that's what I thought. All right, so but anyway, so so the story's set up. It's kind of like I feel like I compared something else to Kafka's The Trial recently, but it has very much like a surrealistic feel, similar to not as much, but similar to how the kind of setup that you got in. Ay. Why you guys got to do that right when we're in the middle of Riley? That's Riley making an appearance. This is how she makes. Whenever she makes an appearance, this is always what it is. Hey, come on. You want to say hello? Come here. You want to say? No, see, she doesn't have the patience for these videos. She won't even let me pick her up to say hello. But anyway, it's kind of set up like it kind of feels like The Trial in that, he works in this sort of everything is very vague, right? And he works in terms of the work that he's doing and the corporation that he works for. He works for this governmental entity that's just called the Authority. And there's different people on different floors or levels or floors, and they work on they just work on 2-digit or 3-digit or 4-digit files, right? And so you never learn anything about what this company is, what this agency is, what they do, what the work is that Bjorn is working on. That's very intentional, I think, is that all those sort of mundane details of this of the environment, of the setting, are stripped out of it, so that your full focus is on basically the perspectives, right? Your full focus on the story is about Bjorn's relationship with both his boss and also with all of his co-workers, and that's sort of those 3 different power levels, I guess, or 3 different perspective levels, and all the different perspectives that people have, and and the room, of course, comes into play a lot, and there's just different people have different opinions on it and different perspectives about what should be allowed and what's real and what's everybody comes at it from a different vantage point. So it explores a couple of different things. It was really very interesting little book, and it explores just these sort of political dynamics and these differences in perspective in the workplace, and just the banality of it all, and how easy positions can change and perspectives can change among different people, and the power dynamics, and it was really interesting, and it was neat the way it was set up with this in this sort of surreal environment, so that the full focus was just on the people and really like nothing else. And so, yeah, it was really good. It was really unusual. I thought it is a quick read, and I would highly recommend this one. And then the last one we read was a piece of alien smut. And this one, let me make sure I get the title right. So this is, I'll put it up here. It's only available in a Kindle, in an ebook. It's called Abducted by the Alien Mad Scientist by Sylek Phantasm, which is a alter ego for a booktuber. That the reason I picked this up was because I was watching a booktuber called I hope I pronounce it right, the Teal Veyre picture show. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that, but we'll link it down below. And she had just mentioned, she was talking about something else, but she had mentioned her book and flashed that one, and I was like, oh well, that's interesting. I never read alien smut, or really any smut before, so I figured, oh, it's a short ebook. Let me give it a try, see what it is. So, it is exactly what you would think it is. It's really short, so it's pretty much like one scene. And there's this young guy and he's driving his truck, and a sexy, powerful alien woman comes along and needs to do some experiments on mankind. You can imagine the nature, and so they have an encounter. It's really revolves all around that one encounter, and it's exactly what you would expect. It's one of those ones once you start, you really can't stop reading it, and it's not that long. So there's a few in the series. I think they're sort of related. It's the Monster Girls, Tales of the Monster Girls series. So I think they're all similar, I think. So so if you're looking for some addictive alien smut, this might be your bag. And so we'll like I said, we'll link her channel below so you can go check her out. And so that's everything. That wraps them up for today. The Below by Laurel Hightower, Downward to Earth by Robert Silverberg, The Room by Jonas Karlsson, and Abducted by the Alien Mad Scientist by Sylek Phantasm. So we'll see you soon. As I mentioned in the last video, our room was out of commission for a while, so we're catching up on videos now. We got to do the haul. We got 2 tag. We're doing more tags now apparently, so we got a couple tags to do. And we're going to do another wrap up soon because we're reading literally 5 other books right now. That's why I want to just do this when we're ready wrap up, because I had too many things going. I'm not going to be able to remember these. So we're in the middle of a number of other books. So we'll be reviewing those soon too, as well. So got a lot coming, and that's it for today. So thanks so much for watching. If you've read any of these books, definitely leave us a comment below. Let us know what you think. If not, leave Olive a puppy emoji. She always likes to see those. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button along with the notification bell so that you get notified the next time Olive says it's okay to upload another video. Thanks for watching. Take care of yourselves and each other, and we'll see you next time.